Welcome everybody to Sparx Systems YouTube page. My name's Scott and I'm joined by Stephen. Good morning, Stephen. How are you today?
Good morning, Scott. I'm very well.
Oh, that's great. So I understand that we're going to talk about InfoView this morning. So can you tell us a little bit about what InfoView is and how you might use it in Enterprise Architect?
Sure, I'd be delighted to, Scott. The InfoView is a very interesting presentation style, and we'll start and have a look at it. But it's a style of presentation that allows you to hide some of the detailed technical things in a particular element and display the element from a business point of view, if you like. So it simplifies the view. But let's do what we always do. Let's choose our perspective. Now, at the moment, I have been doing some test management this morning. So I'm going to change perspectives here, and I'm going to go into the UML perspective. So I'll go all UML there. We've got that perspective change, which focuses on the things that we're interested in doing today, which is UML modeling. Now let's go and have a look at our structural model. I'm going to navigate through here through the project browser, and I've got a package here called class model meter focus. Now we did have a complete class model, and I'll just display that. That's one we did earlier for a presentation video on modeling class diagrams along with all of the other UML diagrams. But what I've got is the ability to create a smaller and more focused version of that diagram using the same elements. And I've done that over here, and I've called it the class model meter focus. So we're just focusing on the things around the meter. So in the other diagram, I'll flick back to that momentarily, we've got, payments and debit cards and all sorts of other things there. So let's just focus on these elements.
Were you able to reuse some of those elements?
Yeah, great question, Scott. Yes, I was. I'm able to just grab an element from the diagram. For example, if I wanted to put in parking session, I could simply copy that element. So I'm just going to go Control-C on my keyboard onto this diagram here and go Control-V, and it pastes it in automatically. And you're exactly right, Scott. That's exactly what I did to create this focus one, just selecting those elements. And if I take that off the diagram now, I'm just going to hit the delete key on my keyboard, and it's gone. Now, just for people that might be asking the question, did you remove that from your model? And the answer is no. It's still there, and it's still in the project browser. So very much, Scott, the diagrams are just views of the underlying repository. Let's continue on here and look at our info view that we're focusing on. Let's do it for this element here, the class model parking meter. So what you can see also here is this is prefixed with the class model, and that's because it's showing the location of that in the project browser. Let's just leave that for the moment, and let's look at our info view. I right mouse click on there and go appearance here, and I select enable info view. So from the context menu of the element, the appearance menu item, and enable info view. So let's do that. And you notice that a lot of the noise goes away. And I'll flick back to the class diagram, which I've just got conveniently opened here. And you can see all of the other things that were in this parking meter element. We had attributes and operations and receptions, and we could have, a number of other things, but that's hidden those features there. And so now I've got just the name, the type of element that it is, and some notes. Now, if I right click on that one and say appearance, I can now look at the info view properties. So this is going to allow me to determine what I want to display in the info view. And notice that what we've got is the kind of things, if I line that up with the properties, the kind of things that you see in the properties window. And in a normal presentation, Scott, without the info view on, you don't get to display that kind of information in the element view. So let's turn a few of these on. Let's say, look, we're not really interested in type. Our business audience, our non-technical audience, doesn't really care about type, but they do care about status, and they do care about phase, and they are interested in the author. So let's click those ones and see what happens. So now the element presentation has changed. We've got the name of the element, we've got the status approved, we've got the phase, it's sprint 1, and we've got the author as Jenny Kitabashi. So, and the notes are displayed. So that's makes that element incredibly easy to understand from a business point of view, and the kind of information that business people want to see.
So is this something that can be used to provide additional information, and can some of this information be perhaps printed out on a report or a document?
Yeah, look, Scott, that's a great question, and you've kind of cut right to the importance of this, because yes, I could be presenting it in a meeting with executives or business managers, and if I was to present this model, then yes, they could see it. But when I include it in a report, they would see all of that detail. Now the diagram can be included in the report, and that information can simplify the presentation of the element. And the other thing, Scott, which is really, really great, and a lot of novice users that even use InfoView don't know this, I can simply lasso all of these elements at once, and I can use my Control A to select them all. And now I can go in, and with an element selected there, I can go into Appearance here, and I can select Appearance, Enable InfoView. And the elements are now all in that InfoView. Yeah, so that's an incredibly powerful thing to do. And I can then, set the, you notice that these ones haven't got those properties. The properties were, InfoView properties were assigned just to the parking meter one. But let's say I want them for all of them. So I can, again, click there, go into my Appearance menu item, InfoView properties, and set it for all of them. I'll turn off type. We had status, we had phase, we had author. And we've got the options for icon there. I might capitalize the names. That might give it, a better look. And let's apply those ones there. So now we've got a couple of things that have changed there. Let's use some of our alignment tools. I'm just going to hold the Control key down and the down arrow, and I've got those notes being displayed. And notice that if the element isn't large enough on the diagram to contain all the note, little ellipses pop up that show that there is more notes there. I can do that, and then I can use my friendly alignment feature and just align those guys like that, and we've got a perfect perfect diagram.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. It's great that you can apply the info view to so many elements with just a few clicks. You can provide more information, and if you really want to, you could apply different info view to different elements. So for example, if I had use cases and I wanted to display the author for use cases, but for requirements I didn't want to display the author, that's possible, I assume.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. That's right. It can be applied on each diagram. And the take-home message about this, apart from being an obvious simplification of the information for a non-technical audience, the thing to remember, Scott, is that this is very different from a simple drawing tool. It's a repository with the information that can be reused. And I still have my class model, and that model is still applicable for a technical audience. But I can, I can present this model, this diagram, to someone else. Let me just do one other thing, Scott. I'm just going to click on this one here, and again go into Appearance and Info View Properties. And you notice we've got these maintenance items here. So let's click on that and see what pops up, because these may be things that a non-technical audience, like a project manager or people, might be interested in. Let's do that. And you can see, I'll just zoom in there a bit. You can see that feature has popped up, send expiry warning to the motorist. And we could, click on that, and that will pop up. So the system will send a text message to a motorist to warn that a meter is about to expire. And Scott, that's something that I think every person that's parked their car would love to have. So I'm glad to see that feature's in there. Now let's see how I can add one of those as well. So with that open, I can go to the inspector thing there, and I can right mouse click on here and say, look, let's add a new change. And the change is going to be relocate the solar panel Array, because it wasn't. We can put some details in there. We can, this is requested by, let's say it's requested by Jenny. We've got the date of the requesting. Let's say it was actually requested on Friday. The priority is medium, and let's go okay to that. And notice, Scott, that the element conveniently changes and shows that information as well. The element hasn't been resized, but the notes have been ellipsed out so that you can see that the notes are there. And remember, you can always get to the notes, in this in the notes window over here. So you can see those as well. So lots of options there, Scott. And again, perfect for the non-technical audience.
It just makes it like a project management tool combined with a diagramming tool combined with a modeling tool. It's just amazing to have it all in the one location. So it's great.
Thanks, Scott.
Well, I'd like to remind our audience that they can like, subscribe and comment on any of the videos that they see on the Sparx Systems YouTube page. We love hearing your comments and we like to respond to them. And if you have any questions or ideas for future topics, feel free to comment. So like, comment, subscribe to the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. Thanks very much, Stephen, and appreciate your time today, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Pleasure, Scott.